The mood is very good, and I say that with a caveat because I've seen very good pre-seasons before. Yeah. There's been more change in the last 12 months at Manchester United than in all the time I've written about the club, which is over 35 years. Literally 2 people per week saying to me, I'm leaving. So if I wind back a year, Sesko was #1 target for Man United. Number one. Yep. Okay? I say that with absolute, take me to court and I'll prove it.
Jay here for Stretford Paddock. This is a one-on-one interview with perfect timing. We can leave that in with Andy Mitten, who works for The Athletic, is a diehard United fan, is also the editor of Manchester United fanzine United We Stand, and has now gone into the YouTube world with the Talk of the Devils as well. We don't need to talk about all that, but there's a link in the description for United We Stand where you've had some pretty big interviews of late, haven't you? I mean, you've
of late, years, mate.
But really, yeah, just a bit.
Even when you were selling it on the street.
I know Andy was daft enough to give me my first ever job back in the day.
You weren't a bad seller.
Where do we ranking? You've had about 50 sellers. Where do I rank?
Just below mid-table.
I'll say that.
You're a grafter and you got better.
There you go.
Then you're at the big time, so you didn't want to be selling fanzines. Anyway,
we digress. There's a link in the description for United We Stand. Andy, you've been doing pre-season tours for literally decades. You've seen all this before.
Yeah.
You've seen the sort of the camp, the mood, the squad, the manager, all the rest of it. How would you assess it all at the minute in terms of the sort of the mood within the camp and around United? Because it's been obviously a horrendous season. Yeah. We've made a couple of signings. Where do you think United are at the minute?
The mood is very good. And I say that with a caveat because I've seen very good pre-seasons before, and when the season have started, the form's been terrible. So the best example of that would be 14-15, where United were in this country, the United States, hammering everyone, and then the season started and they lost at home to Swansea, and then drew against Burnley and Sunderland, I think it was. But in answer to your question, the mood is decent among the players. They're in one place where they've got a training camp. The new players have been welcomed. I probably spoke to 4 or 5 players. I spoke to a lot of other people as well. And for me, it's important on these trips, going back to your original question, to meet people sort of off the record, to develop contacts, which lead then to me doing the type of interviews that you mentioned. Yep. So last year we did Jim Ratcliffe's first interview, did a big one with Omar Barada in the summer. That just doesn't happen overnight. You know, that takes a long time of trust and relationship building. And then in the case of Ratcliffe, I was just really angry when I saw the ticket price rise and said, you should speak to me. He was like, right, bring it on. I went, right, I will do then. All right, I'll come to London. He went, no, I'm in Manchester. So we just sort of shadow boxed around each other and then had a pretty frank chat. Fair play to him, fronted up with it. Yeah. Barada was much more considered. He's a bright man. I'd known him when he was at FC Barcelona, and I think he's got a very clear plan of how to help make Manchester United great again, but obviously it's very difficult. We're talking here with the team having finished 15th in the league, which is simply unacceptable. Last season was horrendous. So the mood's lifted off the floor. You know, after Bilbao, that was probably the lowest I have ever felt as a United fan.
Even you was like
ever.
Yeah, because it was grim when I was there.
And partly because my worlds collided, so I'm having to work for TV and I'm on the pitch speaking to Tottenham players who don't have a clue who I am. Congratulations on winning the Europa League, Mickey, Vander, whatever your name is. How you feeling? And then doing the United stuff, and Luke Shaw's just absolutely broken. And I believe that. And I had other people going, he's acting here. So the mood was really, really bad. The start of the season needs to be a positive one. It's a tough start, probably the toughest since a man called David Moyes was in charge.
We're currently in Chicago outside the Ritz, and what have you been up to?
I've been to see David Moyes. He's upstairs. He's up there. I'd love it if Moyes walked past now. I've always got on with him, and I think he's got a very serious demeanour, but there's a good humour about him, and he's a really good human. You know, some of the stuff he's done which no one really knows about. And you know, if you're only going to judge him through what he did as Man United manager, I think A, he would have done things differently. B, history remembers him slightly better because of how complicated and bad things have been since. But David's a good man. I've kept in touch with him. Saw him a lot when he was in Spain at Real Sociedad. And you can have a laugh with him, which people might not think.
We were chatting before,
honestly,
you mentioned that, and I was a bit
funny.
like, really?
He's funny. Yeah. He's a funny man.
I don't associate David Moyes with being a funny guy.
I swear
I like
he
to
is.
Go for a drink
he
with him
is
and have a giggle.
Funny man. He's like, I remember just I could tell you 10 different examples, but a few years ago I did Land's End John O'Groats, and unbeknown to me, he was following me on my bike. And he's like, you give me ideas to lose a bit of weight here as I'm going through Scotland, looking a bit skeletal. I'm like, you cheeky. But he's funny in a pretty serious world as well.
You mentioned there about sort of maybe history's been a bit kinder to him. They understand what he inherited in terms of the sort of people above him, the fact David Gill had just left, all the rest of it. Yeah. Do you think there is a change now in the setup and the ownership? Do you see that there is I know there's a change, but do you think it's a positive one? Because you've spoken to these people, you've been there from the start, you've seen all this. You were talking about the Glazers before they arrived. Yeah. Now we're in this stage with...
In 2004, speaking to David Gill, what can you tell me about the Glazer family?
Yeah.
I can remember him saying they're a great sports family, blah, blah, blah. There's been more change in the last 12 months at Manchester United than in all the time I've written about in the club, which is over 35 years. Literally 2 people per week saying to me, I'm leaving. Either lost a job, taken redundancy, or chose to go at their own accord. And I'm trying to decipher the truth, because if someone is leaving, then they might be a bit raw, they might be a bit angry, and they might want to vent to you. But that is only one side of the story. And I speak to the new people here. Yeah. And there's some smart people there, and the club has also lost some smart people as well. And the new people, they've got a very clear idea of what they want, and good luck to them. I hope it works out for them. I don't know whether it will or not. Yeah. I'm pretty. How I feel now, I've got a pre-season sort of optimism. I like the new signings. I think there will be more movement in the transfer market.
Right.
It's a tough opening to the season. It simply has to start well this season. If you're 15th in November, then I think the substantial support that Ruben Amorim has had will start to evaporate. Yeah. And he has had huge support at matches, people singing for him.
Even after Bilbao at the Villa game. At the Villa game, there was. I was at the Villa game. I was at the Bilbao game, but at the Villa game, there was still a lot of support there. And you think after a defeat like that,
he's got to win, mate.
Yeah, he might have lost it. But he says the right things, though, doesn't he, Ruben Amorim?
He does, and I think fans like that.
It's that time to. I remember there was one line in the fanzine about, he does talk the talk, but you've got to walk the walk as well.
You've got to walk the walk.
Which was so true, because eventually fans are going to go, he's saying nice things and he looks great. Yeah.
But fans like that brutal honesty because they see it in themselves. And Ralph Rangnick did the same, and people like that coming from him. But when Ralph Rangnick was in charge, most of my sources were telling me stuff that wasn't great about him. Yeah. So my job is not to say, nice one, Ralph, go for it, when you're hearing stuff which is like, oof, that's a bit worrying. Yeah. With Ruben, most of the stuff I hear is, yeah. A couple of quibbles, which you're always going to get. Yeah, it's understandable. I had it with Eric Ten Hag. After the cup final, I probably spoke to 6 players straight and outside the dressing room. Yeah. And not one of them said he should be sacked. Not one of them said he should absolutely go. So it was a real mixed bag. And I said that on the day. And then when I said it 4 months later, after he'd gone, people were like, why didn't you say this at the time? Yeah. I did. Yeah. I did.
But there wasn't that backing of him like you'd have expected, perhaps?
No, I think with Eric and Ollie, patience just finally wore out. Ollie, it was like a 6-week spell. And he would say that. He'd say that on the record. Eric was pretty bruised. I've stayed in touch with Eric. If you're as bad as Man United were, you're going to be lucky to keep your job. And so Ruben's benefited from the fact that he's new. He's a very good communicator. Yeah, he's a good-looking fella.
It's true.
The honesty is. I do think he's a talented coach. Yeah. But the team simply has to start winning. Yeah. Not win the league. It'd be nice.
You can dream, can't we?
But 15th with no goals. So I think United are moving in the right direction.
You've been speaking to some of the main people out here. Yeah. And do you feel like that there's a determination to do something about that, and that determination is going to we're going to see some things happening moving forward quickly? Because I think it's weird at United. I think we understand that it's a mammoth task and we've just finished 15, but there's also that impatience where we want to see some results quickly. We want to see us move forward, and we want to see signings as well. We want to see, I know we've bought 2 players this window, 3 if you count Leon as well, but we want to see this club moving forward as quickly as possible.
I'm encouraged by the new signings, but then if you'd asked me a year ago, I would have said the same thing.
Yeah, true.
So you have this idealised version, because we all think that Cunha and Mbumo is how to pronounce it. I've been told by him.
Go on, Mbumo.
Brian Umbumo.
Right, I'm doing all sorts.
Yeah,
So,
I've
boom,
had
I'm going
about
with you
four.
because you know what you do.
And then it don't quite work out.
Yeah.
And I remember before the Fulham game last year, opening game of the season, people are going, at last, best in class people, brilliant in the transfer market. I'm like, played one game. And then I suppose we're judging this off social media, which just the pendulum just swings too wildly.
Yeah.
So I think that both the new signings are going to be a success. But there is an art. It's not a science, this. A lot of Man United signings have not been successful. What I will say is there's serious background checks going on of all the players who are signing.
That's good
check
to know.
that the right people. I think there'll be more transfer activity. You know, I'm a Manchester United fan. I want the team to do well as well.
Yeah, of course.
But we've been here so many times, Jay, in the last 13 years or whatever it is. I'm not going to say now that, you know, number 21 is coming. I hope
You're a bit more sensible than some people we have on the channel, including myself.
There are good players there, all right?
Yeah.
There's a couple of problem areas in the team, but there's a lot of solid pros there.
Yeah.
Who are good enough to be playing in a top 4 team. And then you've got the star, Bruno.
Yeah.
You've got Ahmad, who's very good. Luke Shaw, fit and playing every week, is a very good defender.
I agree.
But he hasn't been able to play every week. So, you know, if you pick up so many injuries, then your season's rocked straight away. And then, you know, massive season ahead for people like Manu Ugarte. Spoke to him the other day. He's in a much better place mentally, physically. Mason Mount, he's not really arrived at Manchester United. Yeah. So it's fascinating. It's a difficult start to the season. Bring it on.
Bring it on. That's what I like to hear. Just a couple more, Andy. There was an article by one of your colleagues, David Ornstein. I think your other colleague, Laurie Whitwell, is involved as well, talking about Benjamin Sesko, how if United are to get a striker, it seems as though Benjamin Sesko is the man that we're going to go for. What do you make of that? Do you think that's realistic, that we could maybe see something happen there? Do you think he could do a good job if he did come to United?
So I'll stick to the facts of what I know, because I've not scouted him, I've not watched him. I know that Manchester United have been interested in him for since he's been a teenager.
Right.
Long time.
Yeah.
And for various reasons, being a slightly difficult agent, financial, he's never signed. So if I wind back a year, Sesko was number 1 target for Man United.
Right,
number 1.
Yep.
Okay? I say that with absolute, take me to court and I'll prove it, right?
100%.
And yet he didn't come. So Man United ended up with Xerxes, who was much lower down.
Yeah.
So United would have like 12 to 14 players on the final list. And what they would look at then is likely wages, likelihood of coming, status of current contract, background check, position where he can play.
Yeah.
Would I like him to sign? Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is a team that needs a number 9.
I agree.
And then when David did the story today, you're like, everyone, bring it on. You know, you want it to happen. He's a fresh new goal scorer. I did exactly the same with Rasmus Højlund, and it's been a struggle for him.
No, it has.
So I can't say now whether he's gonna sign or not. All I can tell you is the facts. I said in February of this year, similar to what I've just said then.
Yeah, United like him and have looked at him for a long time.
Long time.
Yeah.
Detailed scouting reports. One of the issues was they didn't want him to go to Manchester United because they felt... So it's a good example, this actually. People say United could have signed Sesko for like a bag of peanuts 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. But they didn't want to sell him because they know if he grows and flourishes, then they do the big transfer, then the agent gets the big fee. So it's not just about what Man United try to do. United can successfully identify a player and they're like, no, just wait your time, because if he's good, then he's going to flourish and the figures are going to be a lot more.
Which has made sense, to be fair.
Which, if he signs now, will be absolutely true.
And sometimes players need that as well, because coming to Manchester United as a teenager or whatever, not always a good idea. And you know, look, I love it if United do get in there quick with someone like Aiden Heaven, for example. Seems like a real positive move, but sometimes that player needs to have that progression, that growth that gets them ready for Manchester United, because it's such a massive step up, almost from any club you're coming from.
So with Heaven and Chido, they've got a very good scout in London. And there's a very clear pathway to the first team at Manchester United. So you can't really offer that if you're Fulham, for example. History would suggest that you can't. So you sign them players for $1 million, and if it works out, great. And if it doesn't, if they've played some Premier League football, you can sell them on at a good profit.
Yeah.
So United are trying to have a lead actor in each position, and then a second and third placed player pushing to break into the team.
Right.
So, Heavens looked really encouraging so
yeah,
far,
I've been
but
impressed.
he's not quite Maldini yet. He's still a very young
Give
lad.
it time.
So that method of signing nearly ready players, giving them a chance, and if they do fly, yeah, I like that. And if they come from the academy, even better.
Yeah. Definitely. I just wanted to ask you about outgoings. You've got a lot of players there. We know who aren't on the tour. Sometimes we've seen these players who aren't favoured still come on the tour, but this time it's been a little bit different. Do you expect Manchester United to be able to move these players on? Because we're hearing sort of rumours and rumblings, and it's just a difficult situation. But do you think there's a feeling around the club that these players will be moved on this window? Because I know Marcus Rashford's obviously already gone to Barca, but there's still a few left over.
I watched Marcus's first game. I've just got my accreditation for that, the Gamper tournament.
Yeah.
And I wish him well in Spain. I think he had to move.
Yeah, I agree with that.
There's so many reasons. So there's absolute willing to sell these players. Now, if you're one of the players and you're not going to figure, and you're a footballer, you probably want to play football.
You'd hope so.
So compromise would be needed, which we saw with Marcus. But you're selling from a position of weakness because you just finished 15th.
Yeah.
So you see what Liverpool are getting for players and what United are getting for players. Garnacho spoke to Chelsea in January. There was an issue there over money. You'll get briefs and counter briefs. I do think, in answer to your question, they will move, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's like last minute, oh shit.
That's the way United used to operate, last minute, oh shit.
How do you operate differently?
No, I mean, it is difficult.
When how do you move someone on who's on a massive contract when there's a tiny number of teams who can afford to pay the wages? And then I speak to sports directors and agents. There's a big market for players up to 25 million. Go beyond that, it's tricky.
Yeah.
And then the agent fees are all happening. So what you will have now is the agents of these lads speaking to interested club. An interested club might say, yeah, we want your player. If you can get the fee down to X, then we can do the wages and we can do the agent's fee. So it's a side that fans don't always see.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't think, Anthony was brilliant in Spain.
Yeah.
Probably a good idea for him to be out of Manchester for many reasons.
Yeah.
And there's a value to him because he stood out for a top 6 team in.
No, he did very well. I was pleasantly surprised at how well he did that.
Yeah.
So I thought he might.
Nah, he's a good player.
I sort of lost a lot of faith in him.
I spoke to Eric Ten Hag about him in March or April, and he's a very good player.
Yeah.
But when you join Man United, it's not just about whether you're a good player. It's can you deal with the mental side of it, the abuse you get, the praise you get. You can get wobble. Whoa, if you just seen my Instagram count, and when you've done nothing. So you have players, sometimes younger players, being given massive contracts. They don't really deserve them. They've not won anything.
Yeah.
And it's complicated. So the new people are trying to get to the bottom of this, but then so is everybody else. It's difficult.
And that's what they're looking at the background, looking what they can try and find out, and hopefully seeing how we get on. It feels like we're back in Urmston here with this weather. A couple of distant sirens. It's home from home.
Yeah.
And it's always a pleasure chatting to you. Great stuff. Make sure you check out the link in the description. To United We Stand. Loads of great interviews in there, as always. Andy, always a pleasure.
We're gonna got to do 10, 11 issues this season.
Right.
So you've just reminded me there. I will be getting cracking on it. It's mad that it's still done in paper and it still does well.
I like that,
but it does.
It's part of the ritual.
And so subscribe to it now, and we will post you the next 10 issues. People have been coming up to me in Chicago.
Yeah.
I'm a subscriber, and show me their envelope and stuff like that. It's lovely.
It's nice,
that,
isn't it?
It's lovely.
When it's worldwide, and it's people we get people who come up to me and go, watch the channel.
Yeah.
I always appreciate that. I do, and I don't want to sound schmaltzy, but it's what makes United great, innit? When you come to places like this and see the amount of fans and passionate fans we've got.
Brilliant.
Fair play to them.
Ferguson always celebrated the dressing room and the diversity of it, most famously in Moscow.
Yeah.
When he would point out and say, you're from this country, and then that's with his players. And then I've come here, so I saw you last night. We had the Mexican Reds, we had people from all over the United States, we had people from Manchester and Salford. Isn't it wonderful?
Of course it is. That's
wonderful.
what I love about United. Do you know what I mean? We should embrace that.
if we'd grown up in Plymouth supporting Plymouth Argyle,
Yeah.
probably not going to happen.
No.
So
I think
that's like a
fair to say.
byproduct of, Man United being brilliant for years.
Hopefully those days will be back very soon. Make sure you check out Links United We Stand. Go and check out Andy on all his socials as well. That's been Andy Mitten. I'm Jay Moy. This has been a one-on-one interview. Don't forget to hit like, share and subscribe. And thanks for watching.
Hit like, share.
There you go. You see, he's on it.